You may remember the California Senator Alex Padilla as the, Democrat who was dragged out by DHS, right? When he was speaking to Christine OM. Do you remember that? So many celebrated him, including myself, but then he went ahead and voted for the crypto bill. Do you know why? Because he is prone to being a coward and spineless. Padilla leaves door open for UCLA to reach deal with Trump over research cuts. And this is a reality, What did that one girl say? If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So instead of actually fighting back, why doesn't UCLA allow itself to be at the table by getting some funding, by, bending the knee on some, paying of this tyrant, which ultimately results in what? Other institutions doing the same thing, like the law firms. Padilla is very much unconscious with the reality that he has to be a coward if it pays well, right? That's why he supports the Zio takeover of the government, right? He is truly a supporter of Israel. Everyone knows that in California. Him and Adam Schiff, our other senator, are very much pro the Zio state. And in fact, vote in alignment with it all the time because what? If you're not on the table, you're on the menu. So you cannot allow for APAC to go against you. So you accept some of their money and you go for their policies, right? You cannot allow for Trump to go against you. So you know what? You resist on some angles and then you allow for him to have his cabinet choices. You allow for him to have his crypto legislation. You allow for him to have things because ultimately you need to compromise with a tyrant. You need to compromise with an authoritarian, right? Britain didn't try this, right? It's appeasement, right? This is what Britain tried and it didn't work. But Padilla thinks it will work for California? That's ridiculous. The fact that the governor has much more of a backbone by saying that California and our institutions, including UCLA, will not bend the knee, but Padilla is over saying here, yeah, maybe we should. That tells us a lot about the type of cowardice that results in the Democratic Party struggling with registration, right? Because this is the type of event makes me want to go back and remove my transition back into a Democrat on my registration, right? Because I actually went and registered again as a Democrat because what? Because they have a backbone now, right? They have a spine. Texas Democrats left the state. California is showing up, and then Padilla over here comes over here and says, no, I know we're being brave, I know we're being courageous, but we have to be very cautious and give in to the tyrant. This is the type of Democratic officials who will turn our state red. Okay, they won't say it, but they will allow for red policies and red influence to be in and call a Democrat. Alex Padilla cannot be removed until 2030, as well as Adam Schiff. But we have to accept that there are Democrats who should not be supported again and they should not be in public office. Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff are two of them. Adam Schiff is great when it comes to his content. He's very much fighting against Trump, but he doesn't do anything apart from that. He doesn't do anything, okay? Everything he says is on point, except when he actually has to do something about it, because he's very much a good supporter of his cabinet choices, right? Why? Because if California isn't on the table, then we are on the menu. So if he wants California red, then it's better for California to be red than to be blue and not getting that funding, right? So instead of actually withholding our funding, he says, you know what? California is a donor state, but who cares, UCLA? Bend the knee. Bend the knee because I, as a senator, need to compromise with these MAGA Republicans. And that means selling the soul of the state. Fuck you, Alex Padilla. Fuck you.